Hey guys, SystemXray here from GDKCraft, and welcome to my very first Minecraft YouTube video. It's a pleasure to have you. So, what we're going to be going over today is a biogas generator using IndustrialCraft 2, EnderIO, and pressure pipes to basically turn cactus seeds, other things, into biogas that generates EUs, and we're doing this for automation purposes. So a lot of the IndustrialCraft 2 machines use EUs in order to function, and you can automate quite a bit with IndustrialCraft, so I needed a way to reliably and consistently make EUs, so I designed a nifty biogas generator. So we'll go ahead and go over that today. So let's go ahead and get inside. I'll give you a quick little tour of kind of what we're working with. This is mine and my wife's survival area, and it's pretty much a castle. We actually mined all of this cobblestone out of that mountain in there, and we'll show you more about that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and go inside. Open it up, walk through, and we will close it. Closed, and we'll lock it, just to make sure no random critter out there decides to push a button and walk on in. And come up here into the main area. Now this is kind of just starting out. We're still kind of figuring it all out and whatnot. This is a little animal compound that my wife made, and there's animals in there. And we've got some trees that we're using, maple, rubber, things like that. Some farming. One of the things I plan on doing with this EU generator is maybe automating some of this farming stuff. Take out some of the tediousness of survival world. Let's go ahead and go down into the mountain through the wall. It was so close proximity, it actually worked out pretty good for us when we were kind of building this out. And yeah, this is all hollowed out to make the walls and everything else out there. This is a little, I guess, a kitchen area is what my wife was describing it as. And I guess that's why there's a cow in there. Who knows? So, let's go ahead and come over here and we will get into some of the automation. Now, this is one of the first things that I've done, and all of these use IndustrialCraft 2 machines. So this, the crusher, which is a macerator, and what we do with it is we actually put ores into it, and we get out 2 of these crushed ores. So 1 ore gives us 2 crushed ore, so works pretty good, doubling your money there. You can then take the crushed ore and put it into this electric furnace, and it'll give you out ingots, and you can do, lead, copper, tin, iron, gold, things like that. It works pretty good. It also works with all of the other mods, copper and tin, forestry has them, IndustrialCraft, there's a bunch of mods that have it. They all will work in this setup. Then over here we have the extractor, again running off of EUs, and this is where we can put the rubber tree itself and the sticky resin you get from the rubber tree to create rubber. Has a lot of other uses too, but that's kind of just what I'm using it for right now. And let's see. So everything that is up here is kind of wide open area that I'm going to put a lot of my other automation stuff now that I have the power thing sorted out. This is a blast furnace. It uses IndustrialCraft 2 items as well, and we get our power from the biogas generator. And there's actually a tutorial on how to build this, as well as the cobblestone generator over there. I'll go ahead and post links to that. I didn't design those items, so go ahead and post links if you want to build that. So one of the output processes of this is actually fertilizer. And so I have the fertilizer popped up here, and we'll go over that here in just a minute when we go downstairs to the actual generator room. But this is kind of where it all starts. So I have a hopper here, and this is where you can feed in cactus or seeds or other things that you want to turn into biogas, and it'll all be funneled down in there. I figured, this makes the most sense. be able to dump it into there and not have to actually go down to generator room. But let's go ahead and go down here and see what we're working with here. And it is a maze of complex piping. And yeah, that's probably one of the hardest parts about this entire thing, is the piping, because you have to get the piping to where it doesn't touch any other pipes, so it doesn't randomly connect, and they have to be going the right directions, and so on and so forth. It's a pain, but it can be done. It'll work. But let's go ahead and go over how this system actually creates biogas and why it is self-sustaining. So, the hopper that's right above this block here, you put the items you want to create into biogas into that hopper, and it pipes it all the way down here into a chest back behind this wall, and that chest stores it until it's ready for use. The first stop that it makes is the macerator, and what the macerator does is it takes that item, uses the EUs, and it'll create biochaff from it. Now once it creates the biochaff will come up these item conduits, and it'll go into the fluid solid canning machine. And this mixes water with the biochaff to create biomass. It then takes that biomass and it pumps it into the biomass storage tank. Then, when biomass is needed, the storage tank will send it over to the fermenter. Now the fermenter takes the biomass and heat, and it turns it into biogas. And one of the outputs is, of course, fertilizer, which gets piped upstairs. Now, the liquid fuel firebox is what provides the heat to the fermenter, and that's powered solely off of biogas. So, basically, we make biogas, and we need biogas to make the biogas. So that's where a storage tank kind of comes in handy. There's other ways of doing this, but this is the way that I've found to be most efficient. And you can see that each one of these, it's the same thing. I've just, added more so that I can have more output, basically. Now, once the biogas gets created and piped back into here, the biogas is then piped into these semi-fluid generators. This is what actually creates the power. It takes the biogas and it burns it, and we get power out of it. Now this generator has a power buffer of 32,000 EUs. And then what I've done is I've taken the power output from the generators and I've pumped them into the CES units. Now these will hold 300,000 units, so quite a bit of power. All of these are linked together and go out to one output, and then that goes upstairs, and that's where I get all of my power from. So, let's see, water. The water tank's pretty straightforward. It takes water from a source, so, a well, a lake, a pond, or what have you, and it stores it in here. I just did that for easy access. You don't necessarily need a storage tank for the water. There's other ways to do it, but that made sense for me. So, now that you see kind of what we're going after here, we'll go back upstairs and we will make a simple one here so you get the idea of how to do it, because my design isn't going to work for you. It's whatever space you have, however big you want it. It's very modular and it can expand out any way you want. It can be small to where you only have one of these generators, and or it can be rather large. It all depends on how you want to do it. So, alright, let's go ahead and head upstairs and go over how to build it. Alright guys, so in this chest I've got pretty much everything that we're going to need. Now the items aren't correct. You're not going to need only one or only one tank, but this is just a general idea of the items you need. You need at least one of all of these. So for the tank stuff, we'll get the tank stuff from pressure pipes, and we're going to need a tank fluid intake, a tank block, a tank indicator, a tank fluid outlet, and a tank controller. You need at least one of all of these items in order to make a successful tank. And then from there, we're gonna need stuff from EnderIO too. This is an infinite water source block, so it's one block, you set it down, and then it'll just continue to pump water forever. It works pretty good, especially if you're in a confined area, because you can pretty much just, pipe from this into a tank and go from there. You're gonna need item conduit from EnderIO. You're gonna need the fluid conduit from EnderIO, and then the Yeta wrench. And from IndustrialCraft 2, you're going to need the CESU, which isn't necessarily required. I recommend it, but you don't need it. You're also going to need a fluid solid canning machine. You're going to need a macerator. You're going to need a pump. And you're going to need a semi-fluid generator, a fermenter, and a liquid fuel firebox, some insulated copper cable, and a wrench. And these upgrades. So the upgrades, they go into the machines, which we'll go over here later. But this one is the important one, the transformer upgrade. You need this if you use the CESU unit. So the reason for that is, if you see there, it says power tier 2, right? So these machines are power tier 1. If you hook this up to these machines will explode. I know. I've exploded several. The way to get around that is, before you hook up the CES unit, you put one of these transformer upgrades into these machines, which will then make it a power tier 2. So for every one of these, you increase energy input tier by 1. So that's how that works. And then energy storage upgrade, not a requirement. I like to do that just in case, I start running out of BioGas or something. I haven't refilled the cactus or the seeds in a while, and I've run out, and I'd like to have a little bit of buffer before everything turns off. And we're going to need the pulling upgrade. This one is required. We're going to need the fluid pulling upgrade, again required, and the fluid ejector upgrade, required. Then from Minecraft Vanilla, any block that you want, to make it look pretty, basically. Then you're going to need hoppers. You're going to need, well, it's not necessarily need, it's water source. You need a water bucket if you're going to make a pond or whatever to pour your water out of. And then chests. Now, the thing with this pump, too, this pump in particular works very well if you have it near a water, pond or what have you. That's what that pump's there for. If you're using this block, you need something slightly different. The example I'm going to show you, we're actually going to use this one because, we're not going to go over how to make all of these. I'm sure that you guys can figure out the recipe thing. They are expensive. This is not an easy survival build. It can be done, but these items are very expensive, so keep that in mind when you're deciding to do this or not. So let's go ahead and take all these items, going at it. Alright, so I'm going to kind of start it out over here. The first things first, go ahead and we will start with a water pond. So got that. Go ahead and we will put our pump down. So we've got our pump, which this pump actually, it does take power to run it. So it's got a 40 EU buffer, so one of the things to keep in mind is we need to place this pump somewhere nice and easy so that we can actually get to putting the water over it, or the power into it. Now, if we put it in here like this, it's not going to work, because we need to be able to have other hookups to it. We need some way to get the water out of it, and we also need to apply power to it. So, submerging it like this, not going to work. The easiest way around this, of course, put it down like that. Actually, put it this way, so I can show you. Now, one of the things is great, has to be facing towards the water. This is the intake side. This is where that wrench comes into play. So, if we hold shift and we right click on it, it'll actually put the grate down below, and then we can go ahead and remove that block, and look at that. Now we have water underneath of it, and it'll pull. Great. So, one of the things that we can go ahead and do here now, start our wiring, if we will. And click start putting power to it. And we'll just extend out the wiring right here. Now I'm kind of building this as we go, because this is pretty much just it's a conceptual build. You have to figure out how to lay it out yourself and what will work best for you in your area. I'm just kind of showing you the concept of it, if you will, getting everything to work. Let's go ahead and put the fluid conduits on, so that we can get the water coming out. Alright, so one thing here with these EnderIO conduits. Now, you have directions and other settings on it. To get to the settings, if you come here and you get on this base plate, you see how it kind of highlights it there? You right click on it, and it gives us this. Now, this is very critical, because your setup will stop working if you don't have this set right. So what we're doing here, since this pump is actually giving us water, we want to go ahead and extract from the pump. And then this auto extract, you can set it up to operate off of a switch or redstone or what have you. For this type setup, we're just going to go ahead and set it to always active, and we'll go ahead and go from there. So now once we apply power to that, water will flow through that pipe into the next setup that we need it to. If you also look too, once you create that setting, it'll have this little arrow here. All the pipes will, and it'll kind of tell you what directions it's going. Of course, in would be in, out like this would be coming out of the machine. So it's kind of a helpful little reminder. Now let's go ahead and we will put down our fluid canning machine. Right, so that automatically connects to the pipe. We're going to go ahead and set this pipe to insert. So that means it's taking it from the pump and it's putting it into the canning machine. Okay, so that's very important. Now, with the canning machine also, is we need to change this setting here. So I don't believe that canning will work best for this. So if we right click on it, we can get to fluid enrich, which is what we want. So that's when we take the water with the biochaff and it gives us the biomass. So make sure that you set all of your fluid solid canning machines to fluid enrich, otherwise, useless. Okay, so we need another pipe on this fella, one that will give us the biomass. Now, biochaff. Since the biochaff is a solid, we use the item conduit here, and can go out any face on this particular one. Not restricted to which face it goes on. So we'll go ahead and start getting that set up. And these again have the input output. So we need to change this to insert, which is what we're doing. And we will set that up to, we need our macerator. So, macerator. Get this up, it's already set to extract. We need to set it to always active. So when we create the biochaff, it will dump it into here. It'll mix it with the water, and then we get an output, right, which is the biomass. So on this face, we will add the output. Again, we need to come over here and we need to change this to extract because we're taking the biomass out of it now, and set it to always active. Now the biomass goes into the fermenter. Alright, now the fermenter, these always have to remain with each other, if you will. The fermenter and the liquid fuel firebox. And that's because the fermenter needs the power, or the heat rather, from the liquid firebox. Now you see this little copperish looking plate? That's the only place that heat will come into this machine at. So if you look at the liquid firebox, it too has, you know, the same thing. So this side needs to mate with this side in order for it to properly transfer heat. So the easiest way to do that, of course, is, well, that didn't work. Use the wrench. Now that'll flip it 180 so that you have both of those mating. Now, fermenter, oh, see what I did there? I was supposed to do that. Let's go ahead and put another fermenter down. If I can find it, there it is. And we will come to the wrench, shift click, and flip it around. Alright. So, we have the water coming into the fluid solid canning machine, right? And we have the biochaff, or chaff, coming out of the macerator into the solid canning machine. And I broke it again. You'd almost think I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Try that again. So, don't click on things with the wrench. Doesn't work well. Now again, we have the bio chaff, which will come right here, and the water. It'll mix it in the enrichment, which we gotta change that since I broke it. And it'll output the biomass. Biomass then comes down here to the fermenter, which uses the biomass and heat from the liquid fuel firebox, and that will create fertilizer as well as the biogas. So now we need to extract the biogas, and we will change this to extract and always active. And we will set it up to the semi-fluid generator. And we will set this to insert because it's taking the biogas and it's burning it to create power. And then we will take the CES unit. Now these units do one thing to remember, and these are power tier 2. So as soon as you decide to use one of these, you got to make sure that all of your machines that take EUs are also power tier 2, or they will explode. But you have this dot. It's only on one face, and that is the output of this unit. So the black dot is always the output. It'll take input from any side. Just remember, black dot is output. So go ahead and start running our cable, and we will run initially our cable back here to, oh, having all sorts of issues tonight, aren't we? Alright, so that'll give us power to the pump as soon as we turn it on. And this also needs power too, right? So first, while we're in here, before we plug power into it, and we'll do this with each one, is we will do that. So now it is a power tier 2. Always make sure you do that or it will explode. Let's go ahead and throw our cable because that makes sense. And now we have that powered up. Let's come over here, and the macerator also needs power. So we will do that. So it's a power tier 2. And then we will run power over to it. Go ahead and break that. Alright. So, pump has power, the canner has power, the macerator has power. This doesn't take power, this takes the biofuel. And the fermenter takes the heat and the biomass. Now, if you notice, we don't have anything hooked up to our liquid fuel firebox. We still got to work on that, right? So, there's semi-fluid generator. That takes the biofuel and does that. Now, let's go ahead and apply power. So, the generator is now hooked up to our CES unit, which will store a buffer worth of 300,000 power, or EUs rather. This outputs, I believe, 32. Yeah, 32. Alright, so what we need now, that's kind of this is everything you need to make a working system, if you will. But what we haven't gone over is the storage tanks. So let's go ahead and work on that now. And we will store the biomass, or the biofuel with the storage tank. And let's go ahead and swap some of these out. We need the tank stuff. Alright, so in order to make a working tank, we will just put it here. You need a tank block as a minimum. Okay. Now you need a tank controller. Now you have a working tank. It works. Can't do anything with it because you have no way to input or output to it, but it is a tank. If you click on it, you get to open it up and you see all the settings here. Now these tanks are expandable, and they're expandable by the blank tank blocks. So however many tank blocks you have will dictate how much it can store. And if I remember off the top of my head, you can do all the way up to 200 blocks, I believe. So, yeah, pretty big tank. Not sure what you would need to store that, 200 blocks worth. It's quite a bit, but it can be done. Now, the next things you need a way to get stuff into the tank. So, we add, shift click, we add an input, okay? Now, this isn't a pressurized input or anything else. It's basically just like a spigot, a generalized fitting. And then we need a way to get the stuff out of it, so we'll add an output. Now, we also probably want an easy way to see what the level is inside the tank. That's where this indicator block comes in. So, it doesn't look like a tank, but I assure you, it's a tank. And what we'll do here is we will break that, and we'll pipe this over to the intake. So right there. So now, again, this is set to extract, so it extracts from the fermenter, and it dumps it into the tank. But we need to set this to insert. So now, when we turn this entire system on, and this starts producing the biogas, it'll pump it into the tank. But this also needs the biogas, so let's go ahead and do the output. Now we have the biogas output into the semi-fluid generator. Let's change this to insert. And then we'll change this one to extract, and we'll set it to always active. Alright. Now it also does color coding too. As you can see, it starts off with red. If I were to put one here, it would be green, and so on and so forth. And then when you open up the settings, you can see that you have controls in that as well. You can, enable it with redstone or whatever. Basically, opening and closing of the valve is what that's good for. Not real practical for our use, at least not the way I have it set up. If you want to do it that way, perfectly able to. So we also need the biogas into the fuel firebox too, don't we? So we have a nifty output over here, and we will just pipe it out. Oh, don't need that one. This way. Alright. Set this one to insert since it's going into the firebox. And we will set this one to extract and always. And it goes out to the firebox. There. Now we have a fully working system. But, as you can see, it doesn't work. That's the kicker with this. You have to prime it in order to get it going. Since it self-generates its own stuff, it's really hard to get it going if, you have no power, since it powers itself. So you can, either add a generator, a regular generator that burns coal to create the power that you need initially to get everything going. So you can start pumping the water, and you can start producing, the biomass, the biochaff. You could do it that way. And then to create the heat, you would need the electric heat box. I believe that's what it's called. Electric heater. So you could replace this guy with the electric heater and hook it up to the coal burning generator. And that would produce power and heat and kind of get it going. And then once you have kind of a stockpile of the biomass, the biochaff, and the biogas, it would work. However, another option to do is to cheat. Since I am in creative and I just want to show you guys, I will go ahead and we will do the cheating method. So, first things first. Oh, you know what? We didn't even talk about the hoppers. I completely forgot about that. That's basic stuff anyway. If you've made it this far and want to play with IndustrialCraft, I would imagine you get the concept of that. So, we'll place a hopper down on that. And I like to do a chest just for extra storage, and then a hopper on that. And then we can come up to it, and we can throw our cactus into it. And it'll come all the way down here. So that's how mine's set up with throwing the cactus or whatever down in there. It's the same basic concept, only mine uses item conduits like this to get it all the way down, but you get the idea. So now this needs power, so let's go ahead and we will start generating some power. And like I said, we'll do this the cheating way. As you see, this is some biogas. Nope, what did I blow up? I told you that would happen, didn't I? Yep, there it is, the pump. Alright, so, as I told you, you need to make sure you have this transformer upgrade in there, or it will explode. You have seen it. It is a thing. It will happen. See if I can find the pump again. We'll put it back. And in theory, I have learned my lesson for this video, and I won't do that again. But again, that's only in theory. Alright. click on things with the wrench unless you want to. And now it is a tier 2. Look at that. That piece is super critical. Hey, look, now we have water. It's sucking the water up. Oh, yeah, the first time it gets running too, you also need to, there we go. See? It'll just keep reflowing, kind of like an infinite pool type deal. If we come in here and look, you see that it's all the way full, and it is creating biomass. So the biomass comes out this way, down the fluid conduit, into the fermenter. Okay. Now, the fermenter... No, we don't have any biogas in this yet, so let's add some biogas, and that'll start cooking. And as it cooks, now you see that we are creating biogas. So the biogas is created, and then it gets pumped in here into the tank. Now, since we're just starting out, you actually won't see any kind of accumulating in here because it's being used all over the place until it builds itself up. Unfortunately, it will just continue on like that. So, and still not giving any. Let's go ahead and fill up the tank so that you can see. If you look, the tank is slowly, or no, not slowly, but it is coming down. So at least we know that it is pumping out. Now our semi-fluid generator is at full. So long as there is a balance in here, this will always remain full. Same thing for this. So now, in theory, it should be fairly well self-sufficient. Anytime that some biogas is created, which, you know, every few ticks it'll dump it into here, and you'll see this number go up and then start coming back down as it gets used. It's a slow going process, but you will see it. Everything is working as it should. We are producing power. Let's go ahead and check to see. Yep, look at that. Producing power right away. We're producing more power than what we are using to self-sustain, otherwise this number would not be climbing at all. It would remain at 0. So, in order to continue running, it's basically, you know, it's an over-unity device, more or less. I shouldn't say that on YouTube. People will freak out. Don't freak out because I said over-unity. You get the idea. In Minecraft it is. We're producing more energy than what we are putting into it. In the real world, not possible, but you get the idea. So, that is how it is done. You can see, in reality, it is not super complicated. You just got to make sure that you get all of your settings correct, and everything is in line. Nothing connects to where it's not supposed to. As you can see, we already ran out of biomass, or at least generating the biomass. You need a steady supply of things like that in order for that to work. So let's add some more cactus real quick so I can continue to show you guys. Pretty sure I put something in there that is not. Yep. It's not going to macerate that. So, power creates biochaff, and the biochaff comes into here and it mixes with water to create biomass. Biomass gets pumped into here to create biogas as well as fertilizer. That gets pumped into the tank, which, as you see, it's slowly falling. That's always a good sign when it's slowly falling. You'll see it jump up. Yep, see? Jumped up. And it'll continue to do that, so long as we don't use more power than, what we currently have. This setup would work pretty good for, maybe a crusher, which is a macerator, one or two automation things. You need to make it a little bit bigger if you want to, hook up a lot of things to it, but this gets you started. Of course, if you want, you can forego the tanks altogether, and just hook it up straight like I had it initially, and it'll work just fine. I like the storage concept, especially since I have multiple things other than the biogas generator that uses the biogas. So, like over here, the blast furnace uses biogas. So I would like for it to have a storage solution in my setup. Your setup will be different, and your mileage may vary, but here's a generalized idea on how to get you going. If you guys would like a more detailed video on how to do this and a more complex setup, I'd be more than willing to go ahead and do that for you. Just let me know in the comments below. And thank you.